Good evening. My name is Andrew Morgan, and I'm doing big game hunting for my speech. Good afternoon. Today, I would like to discuss the benefits of big game hunting. I happen to be part of the 5% of the United States population, 13.7 million people that I hunt. I've realized the misinformation about big game hunters have been the demise of hunting industry, as there has been a steadily dramatic decline in hunters since 1960s. As as this would seem like a positive thing for organizations like PTEA and many animal rights activists, is actually detrimental to our society. Many people ask, why do I care so much about big game hunting? With my research, I have found not allowing it would actually do more than good and harm to harm. I'm able to openly speak on this topic because, as an avid outdoorsman, I've been able to do some research on this topic in the field and off the field. In this speech, I will discuss the history of big game hunting, problems that could arise without hunting, and some false narratives that have been placed on hunters. I will also discuss unethical hunting. You cannot discuss American history without considering the whole role of hunting. From the heyday of the Native American buffalo hunter to the modern day bow hunter, hunting has played a rich and prominent role in American culture. It has become ingrained in national heritage and become a part of the vast tradition of equality qualifies as a classic American sport. You need and a need for food. Here are a few ways that hunting quintessentially American. Native Americans. Hunting was a major part of Native American culture. Animals not only provided tribes with food, but with heat, clothing, tools, and even shelter. Little was wasted, and Native Americans would often pause to give thanks to the animal for giving us the life they could provide for their families. The early Native American Indians used hunting to mark a young brave's tradition in manhood. It was believed that he was not yet a man until he had harvested kill to feed his family. I also have here, it's rooted in democracy. Hunting is a democracy from an intertwined since the earliest days of colonial America. Many settlers loathed British systems. It was all game of considered the property of a crown private owners, and the wealthy were permitted to hunt. In 1623, I found that Plymouth Colony used to mandate the fowling, fishing, and hunting were free to everyone. The Pilgrims were freedom speakers in every respect. With this, they were able to support the trade for their family to feed them. Some of the problems they had at times have changed the technology and majority of people eating out. As a society, we have lost the sight of how the ecosystem would react. The big game hunters were not allowed to hunt the rest of the environment would suffer. There would soon become an overpopulation of deer, as well as many other animals. As many of us can't grasp why it still would be a necessity, I urge you to do some research of deer primarily eat. The overpopulation will lead to environmental harm, and they primarily eat any other plant like grass, berry, bush, garden, apple tree, and corn. Now let's think about that. Corn. All these farmers out in this industry and all over Michigan and everywhere else in this country, all these animals are over eating corn and crossing the roads, which could lead to crashes and so on and so forth. This would lead to the destruction of any other animal's habitat and good food source, the devastation of forests, ranches. In other words, without hunting, we can risk extinction of other animals and humans as well, since overpopulation would resist in more car collisions, like I referred to a few minutes ago. State Farm has released a statement stating that while the number of miles driven in the United States have increased by only 2% in the last few years, the amount of deer of vehicle collisions have grown over 10 times that amount. Insurance claims data has shown over 2.3 million claims of deer to vehicle collisions have occurred. To put that in perspective, and that can comprehend, and the amount of time that it takes to read the statistics, speaking, there has been a vehicle collision. This also showcases that the cost of insurance has raised their claims. So, some of the solutions I have for big game hunting always allows us to the way of maintain and not only our ecosystem but our out-of-pocket expense. Also, big game hunting is a federally and state regulated, which in turn issues the quality management and avoids the extinctions of animals. Most extinction of animals actually occur based on the populations of human, and we destroy animals' natural habitat. Some problems as we avoid the big game hunters. I understand that not come without most people can't faith the killing of animals. They think that hunters will kill us for sport, and the big game mounts hang on the show off to their friends. Here are some that can be true that most people fail to realize that there are systems put into place to maintain ethical hunting and ensure management. Your friends tell us he is paying to go on a guided elk hunt. He explains that he wants to come back with the biggest trophy mount. Not understanding the process is what provides misinformation about the point that you're thinking he is just going to kill for antlers. What you fail to know is that the hunter actually kept several people in work as he is paid to go on a guided. He had to purchase the federal and state requirement tags to be able to go out hunting. The purchase of tags has now gone back in states' conservation programs to maintain wildlife, forestry, and clean up water solutions. Even if your friend does not wish to have the meat, the guide will keep it and ensure that it is made into food, whether it is for homeless shelters or personal wealth. Most of us, we will now buy that you despise and actually generated revenue towards several other people from keeping them in a job. This is now a lead state of federal revenue, economic revenue, and quality pesticide of free food source. Solution to trophy hunting, while the ideal is people's minds actually is a part of quality management. Making sure that everything is federally a statement regulated ensures positive revenue. Continuing the management of herds leads to quality food free to pesticides and disease. All animals that are hunted from the ability to great food source, whether you turn it into jerky, burger, or some steaks. Problem unethical hunters will still have a bad name for big game hunting. We are not free of new bad eggs. People that kill animals and lead them, people that utilize guns during seasons and are not permitted, and poaching. As you can take, 99% of hunters we do or not agree with behavior as we take pride and give thanks to be able to become a part and not only tradition, but it's a way of life. Solution to estimate these localized problems is handled through our state laws. As poaching and illegal use of firearm prohibited by law, any poaching or any of these solutions occur is become either legal matter and the person caught will face fines, felony charges, and possible time in jail for poaching. This as well generates a revenue of the economy and consequences for not following the ethics of big game hunting. So what I've explained to you today, I touched base on the benefits of hunting and the tradition of history behind it. I've provided examples that could occur without quality management and the revenue generated federally or statewide. As we can consequences rendered which vary by state if you choose unethical hunting and not follow by the law. Many people are unaware of hunting. It is not just because of killing an animal. It is a way of life and many others to us. It continues to feed our families and help flourish our ecosystem. We are becoming one in nature, intimate experience that leads us to a beginning of heritage of roots. It is providing us a quality of way of life to free of hormones and pesticides in our foods. It eliminates the use of fossil fuels by the way we produce big game hunting and the moment I can be done with nature while making memories with my family and continue the tradition. It is a way to contribute to other 95% of non-hunters to make sure I am doing my part in maintaining our habitat. Thank you.